Hey guys, it's Chandra here, and welcome back to Indirect Knowledge. And today we have a very nice reading. It's for Vanessa. Vanesa's had a few readings with us already, if you guys have seen the videos. But today we're just kind of doing a follow-up reading, and this is about this has to do with this new guy Max. And I guess Max is just, he's not very communicative. He's not communicating too much, so it's kind of hard or difficult to really know his interest. And the thing about attachment, you know, when we're talking about, oh, and guys, I do apologize for the background noise. I'm up here in Michigan, and it's down in the 30s, or it will be in the 30s tonight at some point. And so we're getting like freezing temperatures. There was a little bit of snow this morning, in fact. So that's why the furnace, you hear the furnace in the background. So I do apologize for that, but there's really nothing I can do about it. So hopefully you guys can just kind of, like me, just kind of grin and bear it, I guess. But anyway, sorry to get off on a tangent there. So the thing about attachment, like especially like with relationships, first of all, people get into relationships for different reasons, you know, and there's subconscious reasons, and then there's more conscious reasons. There's the practical reasons, you know, security, financial backing. There's also like the emotional, just having company, someone in your life, someone to spend your days with, someone to share moments with. And it makes life a lot more interesting, and it does make life a lot more rewarding for many of us that are in relationships. And then it can also have some downside effects as well, but it really just, people have to kind of weigh the pros and cons to see like what's right for their particular situation. So today we have this reading, and it's for Vanessa. Vanesa's had readings with us here before, and this is regarding this new guy Max. And again, you know, he's shown a bit of an interest, but we're not sure exactly if it's real interest or just a nice guy or really what the situation is. So Vanessa wants to know, her question is, I guess my question is, what does he really feel toward me? She wants to find out like what's in his head, what's in his emotional makeup, like what's he really thinking, and is he interested in making a relationship work, and if not, when is going to be her next relationship? So it's kind of a multi-part reading here that we'll be doing. So for this type of question, again, I go back to my old faithful 7-card spread, and it's going to give us some information. Now, very specifically, I'm going to deal with Max today. I'm going to focus just mainly on Max himself. And then when it comes to like the solution or the answer, that's where we're going to get more of the information about the last part of the question, which is like if we're saying that he's not, if the relationship isn't really, if he's not ready for a relationship or interested in making one work, when's her next relationship going to be? And we can get some kind of a sense about that through the reading if it comes down to that. But we don't even know at this point if it's going if it's even going to come down to that or not. So let's get started. So for Max, let's look at his past, let's look at his present, we'll look at his future, like say the next 2, 3, 4 months out, and then we'll look at kind of like, we'll find out what the answer to all of this is. Then we'll look at really the surrounding energy, like what's going on with Max right now, to where is his thinking at, that kind of thing. And then we'll look at, we'll kind of look at between the two of them, Vanessa and Max, kind of like what is the hope here, like what are they wanting, is there a disconnection there, is it very strong connection, and then finally we'll look at our outcome to see where we're going to be at, you know, here in the next little while. So the first card that we draw, so in Max's past, Vanessa, there's been some betrayal. when you see the Three of Swords, daggers in the heart. So I think that pretty much sums up. If you want to be honest about it, I guess. Whoops. If you want to just, you know, for you, these cards just really speak. And, you know, I think we kind of, or I don't even know if I really have to go further with this reading or not. I mean, oftentimes when someone has experienced trauma from the past, like with relationships or betrayal, they have trust issues. And, you know, psychologically, it does something to a person where, you know, there's a sense about them that just wants to kind of be alone or be left alone, or just they don't want to trust anybody else. It's not that they really want to be alone necessarily. It's more about just they have a really difficult time trusting others because they've put it out there before and they've been hurt. Let's look at the current situation. Okay, this makes perfect sense. In this situation, we have the Four of Swords. Again, we have swords. We had the Three of Swords in the last card, and right now, this is like, it really doesn't get any more clearer, does it? Because we're going from 3 to 4. So where he was at recently or in the past has been betrayal of relationship and things, and now where he's at is he's just kind of, he's taking a pause. Now this is not someone dead on a pillar in this card. This is actually someone that is, this is sort of like the someone that's kind of seeking or doing their due diligence, or they're finding themselves, or they're, this is really a card about prayer and, you know, thinking things through and just a lot of introspection. That's what this is about, and that's where he's at right now. So that's what you're picking up on. That's what you're getting as far as the vibe goes. You know, for some of us, you know, to get out of one relationship and to get back into another relationship is nothing. You know, it's just very natural. For others of us, you know, if we've been in a relationship before and we've suffered any kind of pain or loss, there's that hesitation. We're kind of more critical of the possibility of getting in another relationship, and, you know, we definitely don't want to make mistakes again, you know, and maybe he blames himself for the past relationship, and if that's the case, then maybe he doesn't want to hurt someone else, you know, maybe that's the sign of a good person too. Let's look at where the next 3 months are going to be. More swords. This is Max here. And I'm picking up about 2 months, not really 3 months. I'm getting this about 2 months out. And this is not a bad card like you would think. I mean, this is, again, swords, and at this point, we've transitioned up to the 9. So about 2 months from now, he goes from the past, which was the 3 of Swords, to the 4 of Swords, to the 5 of Swords, 6 of Swords, 7 of Swords, 8 of Swords, and now, in about 2 months from now, he hits the 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords is, let me put it like this. Most people, a lot of us call this like the nightmare card, and the reason that we do is because, you know, like as a small child, you have a dream or a bad dream, and of course you have your parents to comfort you and tell you, hey, you know, it was just a nightmare. There is really nothing to be overly concerned with. You know, don't be afraid. And it makes us feel better, but still, it's like, it was so real. Well, what this card is really actually, swords are usually about mental conflict a lot of times. It's also masculine energy as well. And so for this, it's about, this card is about, we're thinking too much negativity, and that negativity is not even, we're worrying about things that haven't even come to pass yet. We're assuming the worst before it's even happened. And the reality is that most of the times when we have fears or anxiety or negative thinking, those kind of thoughts, it's unfounded. And that's what this card is. It's basically unfounded doubt, disbelief, negativity, that kind of thing. So, you know, it's not that it's not that in the future beyond this card, because like beyond this card is, you got to understand this is not a bad card. Like in 2 months, I mean, you got to think in the past, and I don't know how far back in the past exactly. I'm going to say it's been a little bit of time, but not a long time. He's gone from some betrayal to where now he's just kind of reflecting. This is the card of supplication here. And it's just like prayer, meditation, seeking God, seeking, you know, connecting with our higher self, our inner self, that type of thing. And then we have the, in a couple of months from now, he'll be here. And this is actually in your favor. I know, like on the outside looking in, when you see this card, this nightmare card, it doesn't look good for you. But actually that's not true. It's actually, in this particular case, it's good for you, because you got to think, he's in a couple of months, which is nothing, he's going to go from this phase of just kind of like, introspection and just kind of weighing things and kind of thinking things through, and, just kind of really pausing things on his life and that, and just, it's kind of like I've had some people I've read tarot for, they just get into kind of a psychological place where they're numb, and that's kind of that card there for him, I think. In a couple of months, it's like, at this point, he's having this fear and stuff, so that means that the relationship is going somewhere, and in a couple of months, it's going to get to a place where it's going to be kind of scary for him. A lot of things will have transpired within the next couple of months, probably between you and him. And it's just, he's just going to get to a place where a lot of things are going to get on his mind, and it's going to give him a lot of conflict. He's going to be dealing with a lot of thoughts. And, a lot of times people, you got to help him when this happens to kind of get over this, because a lot of times what happens is people will sabotage their relationships and their future with this card, with this kind of negative thinking and that, because they just assume the worst, and then, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They start to see the worst start to actually come into their life. What you think about, you bring about, that kind of thing. So, if you can help him through this, or kind of encourage, or be easy, I mean, you got to be gentle with this type of thing. You don't want to be over the top. You don't want to be too direct. Just very subtle and very caring. But you also, reassuring is really the word I'm looking for. You just have to be reassuring. Say, look, I'm in this just like you're in this. We all go through things. But you just have to take it one day at a time, and that's really the actual truth of this, is one day at a time. And, Rome wasn't built in a day, they say, and you have to kind of take it one day at a time, and just kind of, move past the mental angst, worries, fears, those things, that demons inside of him, that are coming out. And get past those demons. Let those demons subside. Let's look at the answer card. Interesting card. This is the moon card. Chandra, my name, it means moon. It's a Sanskrit name for moon. The moon, look at this card. You've got the wild dog on one side, the wild beast, the wolf on one side, and then you have the tame dog on the other side. So you have two animals, and one comes from living out on the land, having to take care of its own self, survival of the fittest, and then the other one is, provided for. Everything is given, and its needs are taken care of. But when there's that full moon, it doesn't matter. It's like the wild in all of us comes out, and this card can, it's like a madness almost. It's like you get, it's like the old Friday the 13th kind of deal. So with this, it's about subconscious energy, but it's very hypnotizing energy, this card, and we'll talk about that a little bit more detail here in a minute. So as far as I don't really even have to draw this card, but this is the energy surrounding the current situation with him. And this is where he's at right now, where he's just kind of pausing, putting things on pause. The supplication, that card I told you about. Okay, King of Pentacles. financial responsibility, he's grounded. He's grounding himself is what this card is saying, and that's what that's doing as well. You know, it's an earth card. Like in the zodiac, you have the Capricorn, the Virgo, and the um, my mind is blank. So Capricorn, Virgo, and it's the one in September. Why can't I think about this? Um, it doesn't matter. But they're very similar to Capricorn. A little bit more classier than Capricorn, but anyway, I'm getting on a tangent here. So as far as this goes, you know, he's grounding himself. He's working on his finances. He's trying to be more in control, and that this king here also has a little bit of ego, maybe a little narcissism in there. Um, so you know, he's dealing with things from the past, but that can also cause narcissism. So you got to be kind of careful with that. Vanessa, picking up on that. Just be careful with that. Like, um, narcissists know how to get what they want and how to control people. So just kind of be a little careful of that. I'm just picking that up, you know, from that card just now. Let's look at you. See where things are at, kind of with you with all of this. Very nice. We have the Hanged Man. And you're just basically looking at things a little differently. You're trying to look at things differently anyway. Trying to see things from a different perspective, and that's a good thing. I pick up that is a good thing. Yeah, that's a really good thing. You're weighing and judging relationships differently than you have in the past, you know, and it's progressive. I mean, this is a progressive step for you moving forward because it's going to actually get you into a much better place there. I'm picking up a lot of that. Let's look at what the outcome of all of this is. Okay. The outcome card is the Devil card. Now, when you look at this card, you know, and we have like, all of us have these preconceived notions about the devil. You see two people naked, chained to a rock, devil over them, controlling them. It really does look like hell on this card, doesn't it? But the reality is that these two people have these chains that are very loosely tied, and you know the devil really says, you know, you can leave anytime you want. You're choosing this. You're choosing this. You're choosing this thinking. You're choosing all of this. But you can have a great life. I mean, you could leave this place right now. You could leave the bar right now. You could go home, spend time with your family, spend time with your children. You're the one here at the bar. I didn't force you here. But here, have another drink on me. And that's what this devil is saying here. The devil's out in the alley and all, and you know, you're out trying to buy heroin or crack or meth or something like that, right? And the devil's there. He's got the drugs. But he's saying, look, you don't have to buy from me. I got enough people buying from me already. I got enough money to last me a zillion lifetimes. But I'll gladly sell it to you if you want it. Or you can just turn around. Or you can just turn around and walk the other way and have a better life. You know, go do something more productive with yourself. You don't have to buy these drugs. It's your choice. And the reality is that the two people in this card, they have a choice. They can leave anytime they want. They're choosing to stay there. Why are they choosing to stay there? Well, there's a lot of different reasons people choose to stay where they're at in life. But, you know, there's no judgment. It's just choice. That's what it all boils down to. The Devil card, though, what is the answer to, you know, leaving a bad situation or leaving an addiction or walking away from problems or, you know, leaving a bad life in lieu of a good life? You know, what is the difference in that? What is the answer, the solution in this particular case for you guys, for him? It's this card, the Moon. You, you know, you're seeing things differently. Um, but in his reading, you know, the past, the present, and his future all look like conflict. And a lot of times, you know, that's a natural thing. You know, people bring things from the past into the future. They do it all the time. Um, so if you have conflict and drama and uh, you know, it seems like that, you know, that devil just has followed you throughout your life, you know, it tends to be the case even moving forward. You really got to want change, and you got to really decide that that's what's right for you. But a lot of times people can't just change cognitively on their own devices. They need something else, like another influence. And that's what this moon is all about. It's this other influence. What is it? It's like a hypnosis. It's like if somebody has like a smoking addiction and they want to stop smoking, they might go see a hypnotist, or you know, that does like psychotherapy, and then they'll hypnotize them and then give them like a post-hypnotic suggestion, and then that person, you know, they won't even crave or desire the cigarettes anymore. Why? Because there's been a change in their subconscious thinking, you know, and so that suggestion that was planted in there was, you know, it was sort of the answer for them. And that's the same thing in this case. It's sort of a very hypnotizing card. And it's just basically saying that, you know, when things are right and, you know, when the timing is right and certain influences are at play, when the stars align, when the omens are there, then change happens. And that's what the answer to this is that, you know, you got to get out of this, or he's got to get out of this conditioned state, you know, in terms of his mindset. Um, with his nature and his personality, I'm picking up that that's really challenging for him to do. It's more on a psychological level. Um, so there's, you know, it's going to be quite a bit with that. So as far as as far as how you go, um, I'm just not really so sure, to be honest with you. I'm I'm picking up. No, I just it won't be long lasting. You guys might be friendly towards one another and that, and you may even be somewhat involved, but this is not going to be long lasting for you guys. Um, there is a small percentage of chance though that I'm wrong on this, and that I'm picking up, and it's only if this moon can really take effect. The only thing is when I look at his past, his present, and what the future is showing me, and I look at, you know, right now his focus is kind of on being grounded and taking more control of his life with the money and that. Hmm. If you guys stay together, it's going to be because you choose to do it. But I don't think for you guys that it's going to be the best pairing. I see you guys staying together, but I don't see that it's, you know, it's under the right circumstances. I don't see that it's going to be useful or helpful, or it's going to help you in many ways be able to continue moving forward. You do have that hangman in there, so you're seeing things differently. But I would caution you to be careful with this particular relationship, because I think it's one that you could easily get sucked into and that he could get sucked into. But I don't think that it would be necessarily a healthy relationship, is what I'm getting. The moon is the moon is really the influence on this, and it's telling me sort of that it's like it's like trickery, kind of like almost seeing things a little bit differently than they actually are. That's in your scope. For him, this may be normal, but for you, it's a little bit new, a little bit different. And so it's easy to kind of get sucked into this kind of, into his kind of life and everything, like his. So, yeah, I mean, I'd probably stay away from it if I were you, personally. I mean, of course, I'm the guy that's on the outside looking in. You know, it's, you know, if you have feelings for someone, sometimes it's easier said than done, right? But I would probably distance myself to some degree, let him get through his conflict in that, and then, you know, right now he's just working on grounding himself and getting in a better state financially, and just he wants to feel like he's in control and that kind of thing, and the last thing you want is somebody controlling you or sucking you into, like, using you or playing with your head. And yeah, I would just probably caution you on this one and tell you probably stay away. Now that we did that, you know, and boy, where did that all come from? But here's the thing. You were really wanting to kind of more or less know, like, what will the next relationship be? You know, what are you looking for as far as a relationship? That requires another reading, actually. So that's what we'll do. Just shuffling these a little bit. Some these cards out. So, next relationship for you. What is it going to look like? So I'm just going to cut the cards. So this is just a 3-card reading, and this is going to be, the way this is structured is such that with these 3 cards, it's going to give us insight. And so the first insight it's going to give us is about 3 months out. Then we're going to get insight to about 6 months out. And then we're going to get insight to about 12 months out. So it's about 3, 6, and 9. It's a progression. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be in a relationship even in the next 12 months. The cards will sort of help me understand this a little bit better and get more of a pickup on it, a reading on it. So let's get started. So in about 3 months, it's this Nightmare card. You have the same card that he has. At the same time. In 3 months, he's got the Nightmare card. In 3 months, you have the Nightmare card. Unbelievable. You guys are probably going to... Wow. I said 2 months for him and 3 months for you, but here's the thing. I think you guys are probably going to I don't know what to say about this, but probably have some kind of dealing with each other, I would say. You know, some type of a relationship. I don't know what that's going to entail, you know. That will be up to you guys, but it's going to be one where, like, there's a lot of... It's going to be like, what did I do? What am I getting myself into? It's going to be that feeling of, like, dread. And, it's just going to be like, no. And you might let your fears kind of overtake you and just think the worst. Here's the thing. When this happens, Vanessa, do not buy into the fears and the doubts and all these kind of things with this. Let's look at the 6 months. Oh my goodness, the devil. You got the devil. I mean, I did not put these cards in order in the deck. I literally took every single card, each individually that was in his spread, and I interspersed it at different intervals throughout this deck of tarot cards. So none of the cards at all that I did from the last reading, from his reading, were in any way paired together. I shuffled the cards well, I cut the cards even, and to those cards, 6 months out, we got the Devil. It's about, you know, staying in this thing. Let's look at the year mark. Oh, this is a good card. This is a Chariot. This is a card also. I like the Devil card. This card is in the Major Arcana of the Tarot, and this card is about strength, but it's more about physical strength and taking care of yourself and doing things on that end. It's different than the Strength card in the Tarot card, which is more about the mental strength and being able to take care of big problems in soft ways. This one's more about you kind of, you know, rising to the occasion, you know, finding your own strength to be able to handle things and not being a doormat, you know, not being walked over by other people. You really will come into being in a much better situation a little bit longer down the line. Here's the thing I want you to realize. These cards, even though they were dealt like this, they're not a given. I mean, like, what I'm trying to say is that you can, because now you know what to expect, you can get yourself, you can get rid of the mental conflict, you know, 2-3 months out from now. You can get rid of habits, you know, making decisions that just aren't really in your best interest. You can choose not to make those decisions if you choose to, if you want to. Sometimes we make those decisions because they're fun, or, you know, it makes life interesting, or it you know, it makes us kind of, it gives us some kind of a psychological fulfillment, if you will. And a lot of times that's the reason why people engage in that behavior and those kind of things. But the Chariot is really a sign that you're in control. That makes me feel good for you. Yeah, I mean, at that point you're basically able to get what you want. And you do. You'll start to see a lot more positive things come into your life. So yeah, wonderful. So my caution is just be careful. Don't let your thoughts overtake you in the next couple months. And then once those thoughts start to, you know, subside, like when you notice that those negative thoughts start to come, my advice is to kind of get away for a little bit, for a day or two, and do some meditation, some introspection, and just really think about your life and, you know, what it is that you really want. You know, what are you really looking for? Because in the reality, that at the end of the day, well, and you'll find this out 12 months down the road anyway, there's a lot of strength in you, and you have a lot of power, and you start to realize that more and more as you continue on. And, you know, just remember, you know, if darkness or dark times or dread or anything negative starts to come into your life, remember you're able to walk away from it unscathed, and that, you know, no one is going to judge you for doing that. No one is going to, you know, keep you from doing that. You will have free will and free reign to be able to do that at that time when you're ready to do it. Just remember, the longer you're involved in something, the more emotional it can, the more of an emotional effect it can have on us. We can become very attached, and that attachment can become an addiction. So be careful with that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm not worried about it at all for you, because yeah, 12 months out, you're doing good. You're back in a good, strong position again and everything like that. It's as if, you know, you went through this little diversion, and now, you know, you're coming out of it, and yeah, things are good for you. So very cool. All right, well, it's getting a little bit late, and I think it's pretty much done as far as everything goes. I hope this has helped you a little bit. If you have any other further questions or anything, as your tarot coach, of course, you're always welcome to reach out to me. I'm always here for you. And yeah, it'll be exciting to hear what positive things come into your life in the near future. So please stay in touch. See ya. Oh, and before I go, guys, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, all the viewers out there watching this, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video if you like it. If you have any other advice or anything you'd like to give Vanessa, maybe you've been there down this road before, and you have some advice or something you can share with her, or maybe some encouraging words or some encouragement for her, please leave them in the comment section below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. That's always appreciated. We love subscribers here. And if you hit the bell notification, that icon down below the video here, you can actually get notification every time we do another video and do another reading for someone. So, and of course, if you guys want a reading or something like that, just reach out and I'll be happy to help any way I can. Thank you so much and have a wonderful night, everyone.